what I was telling you right now, maybe for the next 20 minutes or 30 minutes, is the project Imaginary. And I would like to thank Pepe for giving me the opportunity to show it here. But I will thank you. You're my next talk this afternoon in a different way. Okay? So this I just devoted to Imaginary. And what is Imaginary about? Actually, it started as an attempt to show algebraic geometry to the general public. That is, to the famous man on the street. So everybody should kind of, we found there are so many beautiful pictures inside, so we started not showing them the formulas. I think that was the right approach, but showing them pictures, but maybe getting them interested in formulas and in the relations. But after some time, that was in 2008, then it developed into a big project, and it's still growing and spreading around the world. So first of all, it's a web play-based platform. It has exhibitions for the public. It contains interactive programs, galleries of pictures, scientific texts, not only for the general public, also for maybe interested students and so on. Materials for schools, free up and download in the international network. And before I continue with that, I wanted to show you the Imaginary webpage. So that's the way everybody, that's our, so to say, gate to the world. Yeah? The exhibitions have to go somewhere, but the webpage can be shown everywhere. And here you see some of the 3D prints. This is chaotic system. It's now not only algebraic geometry. And I show you some more. When I scroll down, here you see it contains programs, galleries, films, participation initiatives, and Decker box is Discovery box, still in German, and text. If you click there, you go down to the interior, and here is the latest news. The International Year of Crystallography is still this year, and actually the Luxembourg printed a stamp and on this crystallography, and they used the picture from the Imaginary gallery from it. So that is one of the things. Now here you see very recent Imaginary in France. And turned out Imaginary is kind of behind France. The first thing was, of course, Germany, but then Spain entered the game, and during the 100th anniversary, there were about 30 exhibitions in Spain and more. So you can see more. You see Ames Imaginary in Africa. Here you see some differential geometric galleries, pictures, and on the right-hand side you see actually uploads of people who are around in the world, and like that platform, it's kind of YouTube for mathematics, right? That's the idea, but also people can download, can change things. Everything is open source, everything is a Creative Commons license, everything can use it and reuse it, and so on. And here, this is some more. Here's, I come to that later. Now let me go to the presentation. Okay, now let me see whether this works. Should work. Okay, so the project is actually Imaginary started as a project of the Mathematical Forschungs Institute of Wolfach, and it still is a project of this institute, although I'm no more director, and it's funded at the moment by the Klaus Schiller Foundation in Germany who supports science and also this project. You have seen already on the screen before on the web page, we have exhibitions. So this is two fully elaborated exhibitions. You can download the whole exhibition, use it for your own exhibition if you like. And one thing is on, now I have to pointer, it's about the beauty of mathematics, that's algebraic geometry. You cannot read the formula here, but it exists. This is the formula for the cycles. But also we have now, more recently, application of mathematics in connection with the development of the, I would say, the project Mathematics of Planet Earth 2013. Now let me start with the algebraic geometry. And all what you see here are algebraic surfaces. You might haven't seen such kind of surfaces, and actually the only thing invented by a mathematician is this cyclus by Harry Counter, that's the equation. All the others are done by people from the street. So there's by school children, by housewives, by architects, and so on. This is just a small selection. Here you see the cappuccino cup, and you see part of the equations. The equations, how you can manage. You have to learn a little bit how equations and pictures are combined to create such things, and so on. So I continue. It's a kind of funny thing what people are able to create when they have a kind of tool which makes it easy for them to play with equations and pictures, right? Now, this is the beginning year of mathematics 2008 in Germany. This is actually in Hanover, University of Hanover. In the entrance hall, we have this cube, and people walk around, and here are some touch screens where people can play with the programs. So the next, you see some exhibitions here, some pictures. This was a school class in Saarbrücken. This was an exhibition in Kiev. This was a surfer competition in Greece, where a newspaper pronounced a competition to everybody to submit pictures done by the surfer, which they could download, this program, and then they give a prize for the nicest or best or most amazing picture. Also happened in Germany and other cases, but so this is a girls' day in Berlin, where they also started algebra geometry-based surfer. So this is the first impression. If you go into an exhibition within this cube, this was at the very beginning, 2008, and this is the next one, very recent, in 2014 at the ICM in Seoul. So the organizers of the ICM, Jung Park, he was so excited about imaginary that he spent quite a lot of money. I think a few $100,000 to present it here, because already renting that space at the booth at the exhibition is quite expensive. And moreover, he put everything we could do, and we did something else. So the Korean had the biggest and most extensive imagining exhibition ever. So it's a challenge to beat the Koreans. Let's see. Anyway, so there was, now what you see here is actually school classes. They made in a row, they were waiting outside, and during 1 week, there were about 13,000 visitors from school classes visiting this mathematics exhibition. So it seems to, here you see inside how it works. They were looking at the exhibits, at the touch screens, were playing around, and they were getting some explanations. Now I start a few pictures about imaginary applications. So this is a film where you show how the water in the ocean can be modeled by two glasses and with different colors. It's an easy model, but nevertheless this is kind of, for the general public, it's quite nicely done to explain them how water different temperature mixes up and so on. These are more sophisticated programs. Actually, this is a film with some parameters. You can, there's behind, you can see some, set your own parameters. This is the Alex Glacier in Switzerland. And if you put the temperature in the future higher or lower, you can see how it develops. There are some this was worked out by people using differential equations, but also with specialists in glacier to tell them. This is another program. So PDE, here we have a volcano. This is Sicily. You can put it anywhere if you like in the program, and then define a wind field, and then you see how the ash distributes. And it's funny to see that sometimes the most density of ash is not close to the volcano, but somewhere else, very much depending on the world field. So I think this could be used even in the next accident when we have some volcano eruption to simulate where the most danger happens for airplanes. Actually, the Alex lecture, this program was used to trace back a person which was found because the Alex lecture is melting, and they found the body of a dead person who died in the glacier 80 years ago, and they used this program to compute back where he was killed, where he died. And that fit very well with what they found by other means. Okay, so this is the, now I come back to the beauty of mathematics. The characteristic of this is actually that this is what we do is surprising. So people think this is not mathematics. So the next thing is interactive, you will see. It's spreading out, it's open, everybody can participate in its development. Here's the program of the surfer, which I show you in a minute, but now I think there should start, I hope, a small video. I think I don't need to do anything. Maybe I need to do something. Let's see. Yeah.
Did you ever ask yourself if there is something beyond lines, parameters, or circles? Something creative, colorful, and interactive. With Surfer, you can experience the connection between formulas and forms, between mathematics and art.
Let's look at it.
It includes a tutorial with simple equations and all the basic tricks. Just invent an equation and play with it. Create amazing images, animations of algebraic surfaces. Surfer is free and can be used in exhibitions, museums, in schools, or at home. The program features a gallery of surfaces and equations with background information. For example, the mathematics of world record surfaces with many singularities. Enter the world of Surfer and enjoy doing and learning maths visually.
Yeah, so that was a small, you hear me? It's on? Yeah? Yes. Okay, so a small trailer on the Surfer program, and here is the, so here's one of the examples, which were done. Okay, don't worry. So this is a spoon. The previous one, I would say, is not so difficult to compute. Why? Because it's reducible. And now you learn a reducible surface composed by simple pieces is easier than an irreducible one, which is more complicated. You easily learn that when you try to model these kind of things. For instance, this spoon is irreducible. Finding this equation, I don't know how this guy did this. I mean, completely out of my capability. Anyway, so I show you some other pictures. This is imaginary art. The sunflower actually was created using the the Oliver Laps critic and the double cover of that, and this gives us such beautiful pictures. So that's what people, of course, if you show them the equation of this, nobody is excited, yeah? But if you show them the pictures, people really are excited. This is another picture of the same surface. So really beautiful objects, featherlight by some, as I said, not professional mathematicians. This is an interesting picture done by Balai. You cannot reproduce it anymore. Why not? He used the feature of the first Surfer program that it had numerical errors. So he used the numerical errors to produce such nice pictures. Now the numerical errors disappeared and you're not able to do them anymore. Anyway, so this has now become to mathematics and research, and in fact, the Surfer program producing these pictures was first, the program was called Surf by a student of Barth and us, Bart found the sextic, that is the surface of degree 6, with 65 nodes, the maximum possible on surfaces of degree 6. Before it was known only of 64 nodes. One knew the upper bound was 65. But Bart constructed these surfaces, and he thought it was constructed by some symmetries and very deep mathematics, but he thought it must look beautiful. He didn't have no idea how it looked like. He asked his student in his PhD student to write a program to draw it. And this was the starting point of the surfer, which is now much more developed. So it's really started from mathematics research. Another thing which is happening now is at Oberwolfach. The snapshots of modern mathematics are aimed to reach, to show to a more general public what is going on in mathematics, what are the hot topics, what are interesting mathematics in a way prescribed that mathematics teachers, scientists, undergraduate, advanced high school students can understand. And here you see a few examples, arrangements of lines by Harborn, Sandberg, Dirichlet series by McCarthy, the Goldbach problem by Hilfgott, who proved it, and what does big really mean. So these kind of things are now part of the text section of Imaginary. I will show you the web page. So that would be interesting. I think it's not only interesting for, say, the general public. For instance, I learned a lot when I read these articles about these problems. So they're really nicely described. So that's the way where we try now with our Wolfram to go to the general public. There's also an imaginary section for schools. Here you see where school classes experiment with the surfer on the touchscreen. And this is another thing, text, interesting. There's a booklet by Arnold, Problems for Children from 5 to 15. It existed many years in Russian, but nobody knew about it, or almost nobody, except the few singularity theorists, in particular Guzin Zaga and Viktor Goryonev. And so I asked them to translate it into English, and they really did this. And once we had the English translation, now we have a translation to 7 different languages. Because it's open, it's on the imaginary vector, everybody can download, just translate it, and put it up. And that's the idea, I think. These kind of problems should spread over the world. And a really interesting mathematics problem, Arnold, not all easy, as you might think, but that's the way how it should work. Here you see a little bit how it spread. These are all the places where Imaginary has been. You have seen there has been in, I think, 120 cities, 29 countries, several million visitors, among them about 2,500 school classes. And the programs, I think now the numbers are even bigger, about 1 million time downloads of the programs, but even, which I found more interesting, or more surprising, that even 500,000 times the background material of the mathematics. Okay, so this is some of the exhibits where you can find Imaginary in Paris, Barcelona, ICM 2040, Imaginary events, Imaginary films, and also there's a game. Maybe some of you know the 2048 game. I will show you the algebraic geometry singularity version of it in a minute. Okay, so now I think what I like to do, to Paul, make an exhibition where you have a chance or you are interested in organizing, completely translate text in your language, use server in schools and new ideas. And actually the server is used, I know Alicia Dickenstein told me, she uses it in her classes to let beginners experiment with it, create something, then they got really excited about algebraic geometry. So that's, I think, the end of this story. And now I wanted to, oops, I think I have to do this. And maybe, how late is it, by the way? I have a few minutes, I think. So here you see some of the pictures, some of the programs. The problem is if you really make active computer programs online, you need to install them on the computer and the system must work and so on. The server is available for many platforms. But this is the so-called Entdecker box where we program a virtual Linux environment. If you just download the ISO image of this Entdecker box, you get all the programs running in a virtual environment. You don't need to install, you can even have a DVD, put it into and run every of these programs. So that's the new technology, is well known, but it took some while to program it. I show you now here, you see several ones, ornaments, Cinderella, these Dune Ash, and so on. But I wanted to show you how the surfer works, and a few issues of the surfer. It starts, hopefully. Okay. So that's now real-time computation. So you, on a touch screen, you make it with your finger, but here you make it with your mouse. You can move it around. You have a parameter, zoom in or zoom out, and it always has to recompute it. You can put different colors. But maybe let's go to the start page. And here you see, on the right-hand side, we have a tutorial where we explain how to make coordinates. Actually, this is a program for surfaces, not for curves. So if you want to make a line, you have to make a plane, but put it in a direction that you say only a small piece, right? But anyway, and then there are some tricks called Profi tricks. Or maybe I should switch to English. Here you see the surfer is in many languages, in Russian, Serbian, Portuguese, Spanish, but of course in English, here is English. Okay, so expert tips 1, so how to make the union, it's easy by the multiplication of the equation, but how to produce the intersection of two surfaces so that this is a curve in general, but it must be visible. But it's real. Yeah, it's not complex. So think about how you do that. If you do not know it, check how I explain that in these expert tips too. Here we have some world record surfaces. That's where everything started with. For instance, the bisextic I showed you, or here is the Laps septic, the Schmutow optic. Let's have a look at this. That's degree 8. And here you always see some explanation. Yeah, it's very symmetric. It's constructed by using Chebyshev polynomials. So there's always a little bit of explanation of mathematics behind it. And if you want to go deeper, you have the references. And here you can now move it. So here you see, if you look at it like this is a cube, right? You didn't see it before, so easily. And here you have actually you have 2 parameters. Here you see the A in the equation, so you can move. And here you see now the singularities are smoothed off. It's also a nice picture. Actually, we allow up to 4 parameters, and there's a technology behind so that you can make movies. That was used in the trailer which I showed you. Right? So now let me go back and I show you one thing more. These fantasy surfaces. There's also a sheet with the simple singularities, but at the moment it's not yet on. Here you see the general public, they like quite a lot. Yeah, they really laugh if they say the mathematicians use even a formula for their heart. That's typical mathematics, they say. But then what happens here, so this is a nice picture that was, I think, a Norwegian mathematician found it. But let's go, let's go to the very end. And now check what happens if you change the 3 to a 2. Oops. So in Germany we have a proverb saying, ihm rutscht das Herz in die Hose. The heart is going to his trousers when somebody gets afraid of something, right? So I don't know whether there's something similar in English, but this is a kind of illustration of that. So that's the surfer, which is, I think, for this audience in any case, maybe the most interesting Any questions? Any questions, comments, suggestions?
Thanks.